Welcome to the third presentation on the counters. The first presentation was the introduction of the counter. We saw what is divide by 2 circuit, how we can divide the frequency by 2, and we saw the basics of counter there, which will help us in this presentation also. And the second presentation was the classification of the counters, in which we saw what is an asynchronous counter and a synchronous counter. Now this is best time to study the 3-bit asynchronous up counter. It is asynchronous and also the up counter. By asynchronous we mean the clock is not given simultaneously to all the flip-flops used, but the output of the first flip-flop will act as the clock for the next flip-flop. This is the meaning of the asynchronous counter. And by up we mean it will start counting from the lower value, and every clock pulse, when every clock pulse passes, it will count to the higher value. For example, if it is at 1, then for the next clock pulse it will count 2 and then 3 and then 4. And the first thing in this is 3-bit. So what we actually mean by 3-bit? We will count from 0 0 0 all the way to 1 1 1, because we know that the maximum possible count in case of 3-bit is 7, and it will start from 0 and end up 7. So you know the heading, you know what we have to study. We have to study 3-bit asynchronous up counter. So we will start from the circuit. On the left hand side of the screen you can see the circuit for it. In this I have used 3 flip-flops A, B, C, and the clock, the main clock is given. You can say that the external clock is given to the A flip-flop, and then the output of the flip-flop A, which is QA, is given to the B flip-flop, and then again the output of the B flip-flop QB is given to the C flip-flop. In this way the clock has been given to the different flip-flops. And there is one important point: we want toggling, and for toggling we have to make JA, JB, JC 1, as well KA, KB, KC equal to 1. So I have given a common input to all this input of the flip-flops, and this common input is logic 1, which means it is high. So we definitely have toggling. And the another point is, you can see this symbol, it shows that it is negative edge triggering. This bubble means negative and this arrow means edge. So in total it gives us negative edge triggering. So these are the informations that we require in the beginning of this presentation, and by using this timing diagram we can find out how it actually counts and from what point it starts counting and at what point it ends. Also I have taken QA, QB and QC like this, and they are our outputs, in which QA is the LSB, least significant bit, and QC is MSB, the most significant bit, which means if I talk about these bits, then this one will be QC, this middle one will be QB, and this rightmost one will be QA. So the values of QA, QB and QC will give us the count, and the count, these values, the bits, depends upon the clock. So we have to analyze this timing diagram, and this clock is the external clock given to the flip-flop number A, and it is negative edge triggered. So definitely all the changes in the flip-flop A will occur at the falling edge. I have already pointed out all these falling edges, so we can have no problem in analyzing it. So let's start with the output number 1, that is QA. So I have QA here, and initially it is 0 and it will remain 0 or low till this falling edge. And as the value of JA and KA, the value of JA and KA is equal to 1, we have toggling. And in toggling you remember that Qn plus 1, which is the next state, is equal to Qn complement. So the next state is equal to the complement of the present state. So at this falling edge the next state will be 1, because the present state is 0. So taking its complement we have 1, and it will remain 1 or high till the next falling edge. And again we have the toggling. So 1 will become 0, it will go low till the next falling edge, and in the same way we can plot the value of QA for the rest of the falling edges. It's not a new thing for you, you have already seen these things many times. So this is how QA will look. Now the important and interesting point comes, you don't have to see this clock again. the job of this clock has been done for QA. And now this QA, if you see this circuit, the QA is now going in the clock of the B, which means this QA will now act as the clock for the B flip-flop. So if I want to plot QB, then I don't have to see this clock, but I have to see QA. Now QA is acting as the clock, so I will consider all the falling edges in QA, and the toggling will occur in B flip-flop depending upon this falling edges. So let's do it. It is low initially and it will remain low for the first falling edge, which is this one, and the toggling will be there, making it high up to the next falling edge, and again it will go low because of toggling for this falling edge. Then finally it will go high and then low. So this is how QB will look. Now we can move to the last output of ours, that is QC. And again, we don't have to look this clock or this clock, we have to see QB, because QB is acting as the clock for the C flip-flop. So we will see this falling edges only. It is a low initially, so it will go low till this falling edge, and because of toggling, because JC is equal to 1 and KC is also equal to 1, we have toggling, and then toggling will give us high signal after this falling edge, and it will go high till this falling edge and then a low. So in this way we can plot QA, QB and QC. Now we can make the table for this 3-bit asynchronous up counter, and we can see how it is actually counting depending upon these waveforms that we have just obtained. So I will make a simple table for this, in which the first column is clock, and the second column will give us the outputs QC, QB, QA, and the final column will give us decimal equivalent. Okay, I will separate them by the straight line, vertical straight lines. Okay, and we will consider the initial condition when the clock is just applied, and then we have the first falling edge, then the second falling edge, similarly third falling edge. We will analyze first these 3 falling edges, then we can move forward for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th falling edge. So let's see what we got here from the waveforms we have obtained. Let's see initially what are the values of QA, QB and QC. So initially you can see QA is 0, QB is also 0 and QC is 0. So I can write 0, 0, 0, and the decimal equivalent of this 0, 0 and 0 is definitely 0. Now we can see the first falling edge. Let's see what we got in that case. For the first falling edge, QA is 1, QB is 0 and QC is 0 again. So I will write 0, 0, 1, and the decimal equivalent is 1. For the second falling edge, QA is now 0, QB is 1 and QC is 0. So we have 0, 1, 0, which is definitely equal to 2. And then for the third falling edge, QA is 1, QB is 1 and QC is 0 again. So I have 0, 1, 1, which is the decimal equivalent of 3. Now we will check for the rest of the falling edges, which is my 4th falling edge. This arrow, downward arrow, represents that it is for the falling edge, and the 5th falling edge is there, 6th, 7th, and finally the 8th one. Let's complete this table quickly, then we have to draw some important results. So we will move for the 4th falling edge, and in 4th falling edge you can see the value of QA is equal to 0, the value of QB is 0, and for the first time the value of QC goes high, that is 1. So for the 4th falling edge I have 1, 0, 0, which is definitely the equivalent of 4. Now for the 5th falling edge we will repeat the same procedure, 1, 0, 1. For the 6th I am having a 0, 1 and this is 1. For 7th I have 1, 1, 1, and for 8th I have 0, 0, 0. So I will quickly write down all these values. For 5th I have 1, 0, 1. This is 1, 1, 0, 1 1 1 and finally 0 0 and 0. This is equivalent of 5 6 7 and 0. Now you can see it starts counting from 0 and end counting at 7, and again it goes to 0. And I have already explained you these points. If this happens, we just count the clock pulses before 0. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. In total 8 states are there. So the number of states is equal to 2 to the power n, where n is the number of flip-flops. So 2 to the power 3 is equal to 8. In this way you can get your number of states, and if you want to get the maximum count, then maximum count is equal to maximum count is equal to 2 to the power n minus 1, which gives us 8 minus 1, that is 7. So you can see the maximum number that you can count is 7 in this case, and you can easily find out it by 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is the number of flip-flop used. So this was a simple presentation in which we just saw how the 3-bit asynchronous up counter works, and let me tell you how it is up counter. It was 0, then 1, then 2 3 4 5 6 and all the way to 7. So it is an up counter because every time the clock pulse is passing, your value is getting high. So this is what we have to do in the up counters. So I will end this presentation here because I think it is clear to you now, and in the next presentation we will try to understand the 4-bit asynchronous up counter, which will have the working same as this one, but only the number of states and the maximum count will increase. So see you in the next presentation.